Thank you for tuning in. This is Ratna. You are watching Empire Diaries.
This is Nadeem.
6 years ago, the Indian public received the biggest economic shock in modern times. In one sweep, 86% of India's cash money was demonetized. We were told it was a crackdown on black economy, fake currency, and terror funding. 6 years on, black money, fake currency, and terror funding are still around.
At Empire Diaries, we investigated the demonetization of 2016 and discovered that it came as a shock event only for the average Indian. It was not at all a shock for some powerful foreign players who knew about it beforehand and dropped clear hints before it came.
Bill Gates and his foundation, Google, Boston Consulting Group, several United Nations agencies, MasterCard, USAID, they all knew about India's financial earthquake months before it happened. Our investigation is based on what these foreign players said and wrote about the demonetization before it happened. This report is based on those evidences.
We found that it was not an isolated event. It was part of an ongoing global war on cash, rather a war on people with cash. Demonetization was also tried out in other parts of the world in the last 20 years, such as in the European Union, Canada, Australia, North Korea, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, and Singapore. Only in India's case, it was conducted as a shock treatment.
Before we go into the evidence that the note ban was known by foreign players, let's look at what happened on the night of 8 November 2016.
The 500 rupee and 1000 rupee currency notes presently in use will no longer be legal tender from midnight to night.
We will start with a lecture by Bill Gates at a Washington event on 1st December 2015. It came 11 months before the demonetization. Gates was speaking at a program called Financial Inclusion Forum. It was organized by the US Treasury Department and USAID.
We believe that full digitization of the economy may actually happen more rapidly in developing countries than anywhere else. It's certainly our goal to make it happen in the next 3 years in the large developing countries. We have very significant efforts in India, Pakistan, Nigeria, and a dozen other countries where we work with the central bank to make sure that the right sort of transaction switch is available. And it's being set up in an open way with very, very low transaction fees.
So less than a year before the note ban, Bill Gates dropped a clear hint for us. He cleverly called the development digitalization of the economy because it's a safe and sanitized term for war on cash.
In India, we worked directly with the Reserve Bank there over the last 3 years, and they created a new type of authorization called a payment bank. And those customers will be able to use their mobile phones to perform basic financial transactions, including deposits, payments, and transfers. And 11 entities applied, including all the mobile phone providers, and were granted this payment bank status.
Let's now look at a report published online by Google and US-based Boston Consulting Group in July 2016.
It came 4 months before the note ban. The report openly predicted India was on the verge of a significant disruption as part of a global effort to make the world cashless. The report was titled Digital Payments 2020, the making of a $500 billion ecosystem in India. Here is what it said about India. We expect the digital payment space to witness significant disruption in the days ahead. While the exact form and shape of the disruption will only be unveiled over time, the crystal ball indicates 7 trends set to transform the payments landscape in India over the next 5 years.
The Google BCG report has an entire chapter dedicated to the disruption in India that it predicted at that time. The chapter is titled India Payments on a Similar Disruption Trajectory. What is most insulting are the words that Google and BCG used in the report to describe the potential for India's digital payments market. India is a $500 billion pot of gold, the report openly says in a separate chapter. A pot of gold? When do you call something a pot of gold? When you are talking about a treasure you want to loot, isn't it? This is how foreign players like Google and BCG see India, as a pot of gold to exploit. It's as if the days of East India companies are back.
Here is an important paragraph from the chapter about India as a pot of gold. Digitization of cash will accelerate over the next 5 years, with non-cash transactions overtaking cash by 2023. We expect the trend of increasing penetration of non-cash payments to continue at a faster pace. The increase in the contribution of non-cash payments would be significantly and substantially aided by the penetration of digital payment instruments. So just months before the demonetization, Google and BCG warned that a disruption to our economy was coming. It is clear from the report that they knew about India's secret mission to suddenly declare the note ban.
Let's move on to another crucial piece of evidence. It was a formal announcement made on 1st September 2015, a little over a year before the note ban. It came from a shady international group called Better Than Cash Alliance, or BTCA. The funded foreign group promotes cashless payments in India and wages an information war on paper currency. In that announcement, the alliance declared a partnership with the Indian government to help Indians move away from cash and turn to digital payments. The new partnership with the Better Than Cash Alliance, made up of governments, companies and international organizations, is an extension of the Indian government's commitment to reduce cash in its economy. Digital financial services lower the cost of providing financial services and make it more convenient for poor people to access their accounts.
So what is this Better Than Cash Alliance that partnered with the Indian government and wanted India to move away from cash money? It is a foreign grouping supported by the United Nations and its various agencies. Who are the main partners of Better Than Cash Alliance? Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, Catholic Relief Services, Grameen Foundation, the German government, H&M, MasterCard, Coca-Cola, Marks & Spencer, Unilever, USAID, and the Arab Monetary Fund. Strange that the UN, the Gates family, the Clinton family, MasterCard, they all knew about India's economic plans that Indians didn't know about.
Let's now study yet another disturbing clue. It was a formal announcement by the American funding group USAID, or US Agency for International Development. On 18th October 2016, exactly 20 days before the note ban, the USAID declared a partnership with India's Finance Ministry. It was for a project called Catalyst. The mission was to run an unprecedented experiment in 6 Indian cities to scale up digital payments and move away from cash money.
Here's what the Catalyst project CEO Badal Malik said at the announcement that day. 6 cities have been shortlisted, including Indore, Visakhapatnam, Kota, Jaipur, Bhopal and Nagpur, of which one will be chosen for the project. Once the city is chosen, ground operations will start by the end of this year, which is 2016. This is an exciting time to get into digital payments. While there has been core technology development through the India Stack as well as a concerted push for digital payments by the government, there is still a last mile gap when it comes to merchant acceptance. We want to bring a holistic ecosystem approach to these problems. The goal is to take one city and increase the digital payments 10 times in 6 to 12 months.
Just 3 weeks after the announcement, the nationwide demonetization was declared. 6 years on, the official website of the Catalyst project has been removed from the internet. The original announcement can only be found in internet archives.
4 months after India declared the note ban, the International Monetary Fund published a working paper titled The Macroeconomics of Decashing. The IMF said the purpose of the report was to debate on various effects that demonetization can have on an economy. Suspiciously, the March 2017 IMF paper says it has nothing to do with India's note ban. Now, why did the IMF try to distance itself from India's demonetization, especially in a working paper that is specifically about the subject itself? What was the fear?
So many questions haunt us. If decashing was indeed the plan, why the shock treatment? We could have been told about it beforehand and people would have been prepared. Was it a plan to do a shock experiment to see how cash-dependent India responds? Did the digital payments lobbies support the shock treatment as part of its war on cash? Why and how did foreign players know about the disruption? Will we see more shocks?
As far as the foreign hand is concerned, there are uncanny clues to study. Google, which in 2016 predicted India's note ban, later launched the digital payment app GPay in India in 2018. GPay is used here in Singapore and in the US.
Then take the case of an economic advisor who goes by the name Nachiket Moore. He has been pushing for digital payments in India. In 2013, Moore was appointed as a director of the RBI's Central Board. 5 years later, he became the head of the India operations of Bill Gates Foundation. The same Bill Gates who predicted India's switch from cash to digital and who himself worked closely with the RBI.
A good example of where this is proceeding now is in India. We work directly with the Reserve Bank there.
Nobody will spoon feed us the truth. We have to connect the dots ourselves. And there are plenty of such dots, such as the coordinated global push for digital payments and the plan to launch central bank digital currencies. It is up to us to wake up and brace for the next big shock.
Impact Airways is constantly coming out with news and developments that corporate media don't want you to see, because news is not what you are told but what you are not. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we publish a report. Don't forget to follow us on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter. Drop us a comment and let us know what you think about our work. You may WhatsApp us at 9821045739. I repeat, the number is 9821045739. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, stay informed.